Hoe kan de humanitaire situatie in Gaza worden verbeterd? Welkom bij Uitgelicht. Goedenavond. Nog steeds zijn er geregeld protesten aan de grens tussen Israël en Gaza. Inwoners van Gaza demonstreren tegen Israël en daarbij vallen vaak gewonden. Eerder sprak ik met Tass Saada, voormalig chauffeur van Yasser Arafat. En nu oprichter van de organisatie Hoop voor Ismaël, waarmee hij de inwoners van Gaza helpt met humanitaire hulp. En zo de liefde van de Heere God wil verspreiden. Good evening and welcome in our show, Mr.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me with you.
Can you describe what's happening at the border between Gaza and Israel?
The borders, in particular, I think the Palestinian people in Gaza is so fed up with the control of Hamas, and they're trying to run out. They're not really going to the borders to attack Israel as much as it is to run away from Hamas. And unfortunately, the situation escalates because, of course, the Israelis are concerned about their security.
Yeah. The situation is now longing for 1.5 years already. Why are the people keep protesting?
The people is not just protesting against Israel, they're protesting against Hamas on the inside. There is so much protest, and I have many friends inside. I get reports, I get videos of Palestinians rioting on the streets against Hamas because the situation has become so desperate. And scarce of food, scarce of materials, life has become so tough.
Yeah, life is so tough hard over there.
For the Palestinian people.
Yeah, there is a shortage of everything.
Fed up, shortage of everything. When you have 6 hours a day electricity, it's so tough. I mean, doing any kind of business. You know, we own a well. We drilled a well in Gaza, and we can't even operate it because there's not enough electricity.
Would you describe it as a humanitarian disaster?
It really is, and my concern for Israel even is the fact that area could become a famine situation where it's become more difficult for Israel. Then my concern is for Israel as well.
So
my
for both
people,
sides.
I have a concern for my people in Gaza. But I also concerned about Israel because Israel is important to me.
You were born in the Gaza Strip?
Yes. Yes.
How is it changed over the years? Can you describe that?
My family originally from the city of Jaffa. And they ran away before the war of 48 from Jaffa to Gaza, and that's where I was born, in the Gaza Strip. But 2 months after my birth, my family immigrated to Saudi Arabia. So I wasn't really growing up in Gaza. I grew up in Saudi Arabia.
You don't have a remembrance of Gaza?
I don't. I never been to Gaza until 2005. That was the first time I've been to Gaza. And I went to the spot where I was born, when my parents were had a tent there as refugees. And that's when the Lord really spoke to me so clearly and said, it is time for you to return to your roots. And that's when I prepared my wife and we went to Gaza to work, to help in Gaza. And I was there for about almost 2 years, and Hamas discovered what I was doing, and they attacked. And luckily, I was outside the United States at the time, and they destroyed everything that we started. But from the time that I was there, I can feel the desperation of people, even though it was not so closed off yet. But people are already looking for different things. They realize Allah and Islam is not really the true religion of God. And so we were able to convert so many Muslims. And many have come to me asking or whispering, I've seen a vision, or I had a dream, and so the Lord has been appearing to Muslims in visions and dreams.
You see, God is working there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so we were able to convert at the time 108 Muslims to the Lord in less than 2 years' time.
Yeah. Let's go back to the humanitarian situation. Sometimes Gaza Strip is called the largest open-air prison in the world.
And that is true.
And that's true.
That is true. And that's not because of Israel, it's because of Hamas.
Yeah, because of what's within the Gaza Strip is happening.
Because of what is within. Because it's closed off, even on the Egyptian side, it's closed off. Yeah. And because of the violence of Hamas and the Brotherhood of Islam and all of that, Islamic extremism.
You said Egypt. Egypt offered last week some financial help to the Gaza Strip if Hamas agreed with a permanent ceasefire with Israel. Do you think that will help?
Hamas is let me put it this way. They are deceivers. And they use deception to achieve their goals. And that's the nature of Islam. Yeah. Deception is part of Islam. And the religion of Islam. And so Hamas, accepting this offer, they would accept it for a temporary reason, or just to get themselves in a stronger position. That's all it is.
So it's not because of the people, but because of the politics.
They could care less about their people, sadly I say.
Yeah.
Sadly I say.
You help the people of Gaza with your organization, Hope for Ismail?
Yes, it is.
Is it difficult to help them?
It is. It's really difficult to get support and help.
Yeah.
But we try in different ways I can't speak openly about how we get it there, but we get the help to them.
Yeah. And other people fleeing away, do they go? Do they leave Gaza and go to other countries?
It's not that easy, but some of them are leaving Gaza, and they're going to Turkey or Armenia or even to Europe, quite a bit to Australia. Once they get a situation, they get an opportunity to leave, they leave. And they are leaving. They are. Even doctors are leaving. Yeah. And that's the scary part also. Even doctors are giving up because of the scarce of medicine. They can't even work to help people.
Yeah. I read a quote from you. Not every Christian can go on a mission to the Middle East. That's why God brings Arabs to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say that because of the scarce situation and the danger situation for missionaries when they go to the Middle East. And the limited numbers of people. We talk about one missionary for every 1 million Muslim. And that's a very small part.
Yeah, I think so.
So I believe God is say, okay, you're not coming? I'm going to send them to you.
He's turning the way around.
And so he's sending millions out to the European nations. Holland I understand there's 10% of the population in Holland is Muslims. And that's a large number that the church should be paying attention very closely.
How?
To take advantage of that.
How can they do that?
The church needs to be open and friendly. The media have created a situation to where fear is creeping into the hearts of the church. And that's sad to say. It really is sad to say. But we began to realize this, and that's why I returned to the United States. I was living in the West Bank for the last 15 years between West Bank and the Gaza Strip, before Hamas kicked me out. But in the last 2 years, when I wrote the second book, The Mind of Terror, I realized I have a responsibility to go back. You know, the look of the title is so scary, but it really isn't. The book itself is all teaching on how to reach your Muslim neighbor, and love. There are talk about the numbers of terrorists, but there is so much teaching on the mindset of Muslims.
Yeah.
And how can we reach them?
Yeah.
That's what the book is all about.
And it starts all on the basic, if a Muslim is your neighbor, you can reach him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because the Muslim, your neighbor, is really longing to be reached at, to be accepted.
Yeah.
Just as I was. When I went to America, I was an immigrant.
Yeah.
I was a refugee.
Yeah.
And I hated Americans just as much as I hated Israel and the Jews at the time.
Yeah.
And then when I got into America, and American people treated me just like anybody else with acceptance and respect, I thought, oh, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing in Holland and in the European nations.
Yeah, you first hated the Jews in the past, and now you're helping them.
I love Israel and the Jews.
How did it came?
It had to be the miracle work of God.
Okay.
Because when I read in Matthew 5:9, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. I was never a peacemaker.
No.
I was a troublemaker always, especially against Israel. And I was trained as an assassin for Yasser Arafat. And I've done my ugly, dirty work against Israel. And when I read that in the Bible, I cried out and said, Lord, help me to be a peacemaker. Teach me how.
Yeah.
I can't do it on my own. And the Lord did. And suddenly I'm beginning to feel more passion towards Israel and the Jews.
And how do the Jews respond? Because you're a Palestinian and a Christian.
Skeptical, of course.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
No.
I mean, I was one of those who hated them passionately. And so, but the Once an Arafat Man book, I wrote it purposely, the way I wrote it, to reach the heart of the Jews, to show them my heart, a true heart, that I really love them, and I love Israel.
Yeah.
And I stand for Israel's right to exist. And surprisingly enough, if you read the Mind of Terror, I am not for a two-state solution.
No.
I'm for one-state Israel, for both to live equally and justly, according to the plans of God. Okay. God had a plan. Yeah. And if we look at the book of Ezekiel, the chapter 47, God had a full plan for both to live equally and justly.
So one state.
One state.
Yeah. Next week, there are elections in Israel. What do you expect of that?
You know, I really don't watch very closely the elections and who's going to win and who's not. I just pray. I say, Lord, choose that one person that you want to be a blessing to both.
Yeah.
To be a blessing for the nation of Israel. To build the nation of Israel what you want it.
Yeah.
Not what the people want it to be. And that's my prayer, is for a just and a merciful prime minister or leader to bring that healing and reconciliation between us Arabs and Jews.
Is that also the best way for us as Christians to pray for Israel?
It should be the only way. Because when you take one side, then you cannot be a reconciler.
Okay.
And as a believers, we should be called to be a reconciler. We are given the ministry of reconciliation.
Thank you very much for this conversation, Tass Saada, and God bless you in your work.
And thank you for your work and what you're doing for the kingdom. God bless you.
Dit was Uitgelicht voor vandaag. Hartelijk dank voor het kijken. Morgen beleven we welzijn. Dan zijn we er weer. Graag tot dan. Dag.